Thank you for attending our presentation on healthy relationships. My name is Hannah, and I'm a direct care worker for Samaritan Youth Services. This class is a part of our Adulting 101 series. This content was developed from New York government's article, What Does a Healthy Relationship Look Like? While we go through this class, let's keep this quote in mind. A healthy relationship will never require you to sacrifice your friends, your dreams, or your dignity. So what does a healthy relationship look like? Healthy relationships involve honesty, trust, respect, and open communication between partners, and they take effort and compromise from both people. There is no imbalance of power. Partners respect each other's independence, can make their own decisions without fear of retribution or retaliation, and share decisions. If or when a relationship ends, there is no stalking or refusal to let the other partner go. We will be going into each of these topics in depth, but to quickly summarize, the foundations of a healthy relationship are boundaries. You and your partner are able to find ways to meet each other's needs in ways that you both feel comfortable with. Communication. You and your partner can share your feelings, even when you don't agree, in a way that makes the other person feel safe, heard, and not judged. Trust. Building trust can take time and allows couples to be vulnerable with one another, knowing that they can rely on the other person. Consent. Most commonly used when you're being sexually active, giving consent means that you're okay with what is happening and no one is forcing you or guilting you into doing anything that you don't want to do. Consent can be given and taken back at any time, and given consent once does not mean you automatically give consent in the future. Please keep in mind that in some abusive relationships, trying to enforce boundaries, honest communication, trust, and other healthy behaviors could put your safety at risk. Remember, abuse is about power and control, and someone who is abusive might not want to give up their control over you. Be careful. If you feel like someone is being abusive, check out the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can reach them by phone, text, or chat, or you can also reach out to Samaritan Youth Services staff. You are not alone. Having boundaries is like drawing a line. One side has the things you're okay with, and the other side those that you are not okay with, don't feel ready for, or make you uncomfortable. This line looks different for everyone, so it's important for you to know where yours needs to be drawn. Setting boundaries is a way to teach your partner about your needs and let you know when something doesn't feel right. You are allowed to put your needs before someone else's needs, especially if their needs make you uncomfortable. Think about these categories and what they mean in terms of your relationship. Physical. Are you okay with public displays of affection? Does affection make you uncomfortable? Do you hate it or love it when your partner tickles you? Do you need a lot of alone time? Emotional. Are you able to share what you're feeling right away, or do you need some time to think about it? Do you need your partner to be available anytime you have a crisis? When are you ready to say, I love you? Sexual. Do you need to get to know your partner a while before engaging in any kind of sexual activity? Or are you okay getting physical right away? What sexual activity are you okay with? Digital. Are you posting your relationship status? Is it okay if your partner uses your phone? Do you want to share passwords? Material. Do you like sharing your stuff? Are you okay paying for your partner or vice versa? Spiritual. Do you like to practice your religion with a partner or alone? Does your partner need to have the same beliefs as you, or can they be different as long as yours are respected? Are you waiting until marriage before you have sex? After you have identified your boundaries, let your partner know what your boundaries are. You don't have to sit down with your partner with a checklist of all the things that make you uncomfortable, but you do have to be open and honest. Some of these things might come up early in the relationship, like if you are a virgin and don't want to have sex until you're ready. Some of these things may not come up for a while, like if your partner wants to share passwords after dating for 6 months. When your needs are different than your partner's, have a conversation. You don't need to give an explanation. It may be awkward, but having the tough conversation is part of having a healthy relationship. When your partner listens to you and respects you, it builds trust. Learn to recognize when the line has been crossed. Sometimes boundaries get crossed even after you've talked to your partner. This is where trusting yourself comes in. You may be sad, anxious, or angry, or you may not know exactly what you're feeling. Always trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Respond when your boundaries have been crossed. If a boundary has been crossed by your partner who didn't know where your line was drawn, have an honest conversation. It could be something as simple as saying, "Hey, I really didn't like it when you did XYZ. This makes me really uncomfortable. Do you think you could do ABC instead?" This may take some back and forth before coming to an agreement that meets both of your needs, but your relationship will be stronger because of it. Open and honest communication is an important part of every relationship because it allows you to share who you are and what you need from the people around you. Miscommunication is common, but can often lead to problems, misunderstandings, and hurt feelings. These tips will help you talk to your partner honestly. Speaking. Be open and clear about how you're feeling. If you don't understand something, tell them. Use I statements so that the other person doesn't feel like you're blaming or attacking them. For example, "I feel like I am not being heard." Be honest, even if you think the other person might not like hearing how you truly feel. Apologize when you are wrong or hurt the other person. When talking about something negative, also mention something positive. Listening. Pay attention without distractions. Put your phone away. When the other person is talking, listen to what they're saying instead of just thinking about how to respond. Wait for them to finish talking before you say something, and use acknowledging statements like "interesting" to let them know you hear what they are saying. Ask questions if you don't understand something to avoid confusion and misunderstanding. Don't leave them hanging. If you need to think about what they said before responding, tell them that. Be prepared to hear something that you don't like and really think about it before responding. Body language. Make eye contact. Face them. Give them your full attention and lean in as they are speaking. Digital communication. Don't have an important conversation over text or online. When chatting online, focus on the conversation instead of being distracted by other things or having multiple other conversations. If you can't respond, let the other person know so that you don't leave them hanging. When and where to have an important conversation. When talking about something important, talk when you're feeling calm or take some time to cool down if you've had a fight. Talk about your concerns before they become problems and get worse. Make sure you're talking privately so you can open up about your feelings. It can take time to build trust. And while it can be hard to trust someone, especially if your trust was broken in the past, you can't blame your current partner for something someone else did. Here are some ways to help build trust. Be reliable. If you needed your partner to listen to you because you were having a bad day, or if you needed a ride home from school, would they be there for you? Would you be there for them? Respect boundaries. When you tell your partner that something makes you uncomfortable, do they respect that? Does it go both ways? Be honest. Does your partner tell you how they feel instead of just giving you the silent treatment? Do you tell your partner how you feel and make an effort to talk things through? If you made a mistake, would you tell your partner? Would your partner tell you? Walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk. Do what you say and say what you mean. Consent is an agreement between two people, given through words or actions. that they are both clearly and enthusiastically willing to engage in sexual activity. Silence or lack of resistance does not count as consent. Some people aren't able to give consent, such as individuals who are drunk, sleeping, or unconscious, and some people with intellectual disabilities. Consent involves active communication and knowing that one person always has the right to withdraw consent. This means that someone can consent to one activity, such as kissing, but not consent to another, such as sex. Consent, like sex, should be about respecting each other to make their own decisions about their body. Giving and getting consent can be simple. It's all about communication. You can talk about boundaries before engaging in sexual activity, but you should also regularly check in with a simple, "Is this okay?" to ensure everyone involved is comfortable with what is going on.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea, thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you can make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say, "No thank you," then don't make them tea at all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes please, that's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind, and you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they are unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea, and they can't answer the question, "Do you want tea?" because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea, and they said yes, but in the time it took you to boil the kettle or brew the tea and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down, make sure the unconscious person is safe, and this is the important part again, don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they are safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it, going, "But you wanted tea last week," or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, "But you wanted tea last night." If you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you are able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. If you're
Thank you from the staff of Samaritan Youth Services.